Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome to the video. I hope your day is going great. Mine's been really awesome, and you read the title. You guys know what it is. Everybody's been asking for the second version of the best player on every single hero in the Overwatch League. So I finally got some time to do it. There wasn't really a lot of news that came out today. So what we're going to do in this video is take a look at my old list, and then I will give my new list and compare them back and forth. Some of it will stay the same, but a lot of it will actually change. So if you guys are excited to watch this video, be sure to drop a like on it. And if you're new around here and you enjoy daily Overwatch League content, be sure to subscribe to my channel for more videos. And now without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into it. So starting off with the Doomfist. Now this one, nothing's really changed, right? Not a lot of people played Doomfist in Stage 4, and by the way, this video was done around the beginning of Stage 4 and end of Stage 3, so most changes that I will make will be because of Stage 4 and the overall playoffs. But again, we picked Hydration last time, and not really any changes were made. Nobody else really played Doomfist that much, and I think Hydration is definitely the best Doomfist in the league still. So let's go ahead and move on now to Genji. Now, last time I picked EQO, and this was a really tough one. There was Libero, who just got off of an amazing performance in Stage 3, Prophet, who was always really good at Genji, and then of course EQO. Those were the top three, and nothing's really changed. Those are still going to be the top three players on Genji. I want to still go with EQO, but I kind of want to go with Prophet, but Prophet really didn't play it all that too much. Maybe like 30 minutes total in the entire playoffs. So we're going to stay with EQO there as well. And now moving on to the third hero, we have Mccree. And again, it's actually going to stay the same. Like, there's no reason to switch this. Pine is obviously the best Mccree in the Overwatch League. Nobody played better than him on that hero the entire season. Alright, and now moving on to Farah, and this will be our first change. So I picked Libero at the time, which again, he was coming off an amazing performance in Stage 3. Stage 4 and the playoffs were rocky for him, especially on Farah. And the three Farahs that I would consider the best in the league after the entire season would either be Agilities, Prophet, or Fleta. I can't really go Fleta because he did absolutely nothing in Stage 4 or the playoffs, so we're going to take him out. That leaves us with Prophet and Agilities, who did make the playoffs and I was super impressed with, and we just didn't see enough of Shadowburn. So Prophet or Agilities. I have to go with Agilities here. I think he was definitely the most improved Farah. Well, that's not true because Prophet was really bad and then he improved too. But Agilities just played way more of it during Stage 4 and he was insane at it. So Farah is going to be Agilities. Now moving on over to Soldier 76. This was Birdring last time, and this was before his huge slump in Stage 3 and 4. But it was also because nobody really played Soldier 76 this season. The only time we seen him was sometimes in Stage 1 on Nubani, which is where Birdring would play it, and he looked pretty good. ACAM did play it sometimes on like Hanamura, so I guess let's just give it to ACAM. Soldier 76, ACAM, you're the best one. Let's go to move on now to Sombra. There's not going to be a change here. Dante was the best Sombra last time. Sombra kind of fell out of meta during Stage 4 in the playoffs. We didn't see really much of it, so it's going to stay the same. Dante and number one Sombra. Now moving on to Tracer. Last time it was obviously Sabiolbi. Again, they were coming off the amazing Stage 3 run for New York Excelsior. Sabiolbi popped off in the Stage 3 playoffs. He literally looked like the best in the world. Well, that kind of changed as we went on to the overall playoffs in Stage 4 because Prophet, I mean, do I need to say more, guys? The 5K, the best play of the entire season. Prophet's the best Tracer. I think overall he impressed me more. He made more clutch plays, and throughout the season he was just always so good at Tracer despite his team even slumping. Now moving on to Bastion. Before it was Raucous. This is going to change now to Badosin. And honestly, Badosin is going to take over this list as we keep going on. He truly showed us how flexible he was in the overall playoffs, and we will start to notice that. So now moving on to Hanzo. We did have Libero before, and this was before those huge buffs to Hanzo and everybody was playing him. Libero was kind of the only guy who touched it besides like Jake sometimes. But now like it's completely changed. It's a whole new hero, to be honest, and we got to give it to Prophet. His performance in the Overwatch League playoffs was second to none. Literally nobody played nearly as good as Prophet did on Hanzo. And now moving on to Junkrat. Before it was actually Prophet, and nothing really is changing here because Junkrat didn't get touched that much in Stage 4 or the playoffs. So I don't see any reason to not call Prophet the best Junkrat in the league. He proved it during Stages 1, 2, and 3. So now let's go ahead and move on to Mei. Before it was Seagull, and you know, not many people played Mei during the Overwatch League, let's be honest. We didn't see much of it. Jaehong and Seagull were really the only ones, and a lot of people in my comments last time were really upset that I didn't give it to Jaehong, so screw it. We're just going to say Mei, Jaehong. Now moving on to Torbjorn. Last time it was Jake. This is going to stay the same. Just like Mei, not very many people played Torb this season. Jake was one of the only ones who pulled it out in a very surprising location, Nubani's second point attack. No one expected that, and it actually worked. Other than that, Toby played it a few times on defense for 1 point, so did some other supports, but nothing was impressive. That Jake Torbjorn play on Numbani was definitely a highlight of the season. Now moving on to Widowmaker, and last time this was a huge problem on my list. Everybody was so mad I didn't mention Pine or say a player, or even give it to Pine. So many people were saying Pine's the best Widowmaker, and yeah, Pine's great, but there's no way he's as good as Carpe. Pine did have a really good performance in the overall playoffs, and despite New York Excelsior choking against Philadelphia Fusion, he looked good. But if you look back at the entire season, there has been slumps for him where he didn't look that great, or he was just making really bad decisions. A lot of people like to blame Stage 4 performances for New York Excelsior on slumping and sandbagging, but throughout that entire time that New York Excelsior was being accused of sandbagging, I was one of the only people to say, hey guys, they're not really sandbagging that bad. I think they might not just be good in this meta. What a lot of people would say about Pine is, oh, he's clearly not trying, he just keeps flanking the same spots and going for the same plays over and over. Well, Pine always did that. Go look at Pine's highlights when he looked his best. He literally would flank the same spots, he would play super aggressive, he would dive in trying to get kills on Widowmaker. And that's why he was always such an exciting player to watch and why everyone loved him. I loved him, but that doesn't make him the best Widowmaker. It makes him the most exciting one to watch, but not the best one in the league. And I tried to break this down and tell you guys that the most consistent Widowmaker and the one that always performed no matter what was Carpe. And I also understand that Saya player was really good, but at the time he only played in Stage 3. He looked amazing, but that's one stage to compare to somebody who played in 3. Carpe was obviously better than him, and continuing on to the season, Carpe continued to be better than him, which is why Carpe is going to be the #1 Widowmaker on this list as well. Carpe is the most consistent Widowmaker throughout the entire season. You can't name one stage where Carpe didn't play great. Then you look at Pine, you look at Fleta, some of the other really good Widowmakers in the league, they had bad games, they had bad stages. Pine also didn't nearly play as much as Carpe, so the fact that Carpe played every single game of the season and hardly ever looked bad, you have to give it to him. He also held up in the playoffs and looked like the best. So nothing changes here, Carpe's still the best Widowmaker. Fight me about it. Now moving on to Diva. The best Diva in the league was Note last time, and I still think he's definitely up there, but after the Stage 4 drop-off from Boston Uprising, it's kind of hard to consider him the best. And then with that playoff performance from Fury, it's hard to not consider him the best Diva in the league. I think it would be between Mako and Fury. I do want to shout out Seagull here on Diva though. Unfortunately, he kind of only played it for one stage. Sure, he played a couple matches here there in Stage 2 and 3, but he was insane on Diva, and if we could have just seen him a little bit more in the playoffs or another stage of him on Diva, he could be considered as the best. But you can't overall, because players like Fury and Mako looked good all season long and then looked good in the playoffs too. I do think Mako was probably one of the only players on the New York Excelsior who didn't really underperform that hard in the playoffs. He played decent, there just wasn't more he could do. And because of that, I kind of consider Mako the best Diva in the league, but Fury's overall performance in those playoffs was just, it was the best. He played such a great Diva, and he was also really consistent throughout the entire season. Even when London was slumping, he might have been the only one, along with Gesture and Prophet sometimes, who wasn't slumping hard. So we're going to go ahead and give it over to Fury. He's the best Diva. Now moving on to Orisa, we gave it to Fisher last time. I kind of want to give it to Fisher again, but then we look at Gesture's performance in the overall playoffs. Gesture honestly was just communicating so well with Prophet and Fury, setting them up for such huge Dragon Strike and Diva Bomb combos. It's almost impossible for me to deny Gesture the best Orisa in the league. And now moving over to Reinhart, before, it was actually Gesture, and nothing's really changed for me. I could say Fraggy, but he didn't really play Reinhart in Stage 4. And the last time we seen him play was like Stage 2, and he didn't touch it that much. So it can't be Fraggy. It's got to be Gesture again. His Reinhardt's insane. I always thought it was better than Fisher. Look at the matches they played between each other. Gesture was the better performer, even though his team lost most of the time. So Reinhardt's going to be Gesture. Now moving on to Roadhog. Last time it was Prophet. This is an easy change. Now it's got to be Badossin 100%. Badossin absolutely popped off in the playoffs. He flexed so hard, and he showed how good he really is. Oh, and by the way, Badossin did all of this while shot calling. So the best Roadhog is no longer Prophet. He's still up there, but the new one is going to be Badossin. And now moving on to Winston. Oh man, this is a tough one. See, Fisher was an amazing Winston, and honestly, I feel like he was better than Gesture. Not by a lot, very slightly. But then, like, what the hell did Fisher do to just completely ruin the LA Gladiator season? I put most of the blame on him. He had to have done something. He had to have tilted and completely raged and got himself subbed out. There's no way that the LA Gladiators actually thought that iRemix was a better Winston than Fisher. There's no way. Fisher did something. He blew up in scrims and he got banned. And he got benched for it. That's it. So because of that, because of those attitude issues, you can't give him the best of anything in the league. It's just sad. So for this reason, I gotta go with Gesture. The way he played in the overall playoffs was insane as well. He completely shut Carpe and EQO down alone almost. Well, not alone, he did have Fury and Prophet the whole time, but still, he was amazing. We also can't deny the swag king, come on guys. And now moving on, let's go ahead and talk about Zarya. Before we gave it to Poco, and this was before we really saw the rise of Spree in stage 4, and I honestly gotta give it to Spree now. He played so damn good on Lijiang Tower Control Center and King's Row when he played Zarya. It was absolutely phenomenal play. Houston Outlaws, they have a gem in Spree when it comes to Zarya. That guy is the best, hands down. And now moving on to Ana. Last time we had Jaehong. It could be Arc, Jonak, or Bdosin though. They did play it a little bit in stage 4 and the overall playoffs. And since Jaehong really didn't touch it that much and Seoul Dynasty just fell flat on their ass, it's hard to give it to him again. Thinking back at New York Excelsior playing Ana too is kind of a blur. I honestly can't remember the specific times that Arc or Jonak played it. It just seems like the same player. They would sometimes keep Jonak on Zenyatta and have Arc play the Ana. Then sometimes they would keep Arc on Mercy and then have Jonak play it. They were both really good. I can't specifically remember Bdosin playing it, which it was okay, not the best. I'm going to go ahead and give it over to Jonak/Arc. And now moving on to Lucio. Before I gave it to Arc, and now I kind of got to give it to Arc again. In a season where we really didn't see much Lucio, Arc, he was one of the best. We're going to give it to him. Can't be Toby. He didn't play that great. He eventually got subbed out for Gambler, so yeah. Moving on to Moira. Before it was Bdosin, and it's still going to be Bdosin. Every time the Lone Spitfire ran tank comps or just had Moira in general, Bdosin did mad work. Now moving on to Symetra, and last time it was Muma, and I also said this is never going to change unless Stevo joins the league. Stevo hasn't joined yet. Muma's still the best Symetra in the league. Now moving on to Zenyatta. These are pretty easy. Jonak was the best before. He's still the best. Moving on to Mercy. Arc was the best before. Arc is clearly the best still. I mean, Jonak and Arc, insane players. They're the best. New York Excelsior choked, but still the best. Anyways, now moving on to the very last hero, which we didn't cover in my last video. It's Brigida. And that's because it really wasn't out yet. Nobody had touched it in the Overwatch League. And honestly, it's between Mccree or Prophet. Obviously, Mccree had an amazing performance on it multiple times during stage 4, and it really did help the Dallas Fuel rise, but I don't think that was the biggest reason. Obviously, Mccree going from a terrible Diva to a really good Brigida helped, but I honestly don't think it was at Prophet's level. And the fact that Prophet played like 7-9 different heroes at the time and still had consistently the best stats on Brigida, never died, always set up huge plays for his team, it's gotta be Prophet. He was the best Brigida of the entire league. And that's the video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. Again, remember, do not get upset if you disagree with my picks. Just leave a comment down below. We can debate a little bit. You just got to remember, we all don't have the same opinions. And that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching the video, guys. Be sure to drop a like on it and subscribe to my channel for more daily videos. There will be another one coming up later tonight, so stay tuned for that. Now